Alrighty, hello, welcome everyone to the Jam Happy Hour. This is Emily at Jam Cellars, tuning in live from our downtown wine and music studio in Napa. We have a really great show for you guys today. We have the privilege of getting to welcome back to the program the one and only Jeffrey James, and I'm going to pull him up. Jeffrey, how are you?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm good. How are you
So,
doing?
I'm doing well. We had a little bit of audio difficulty coming in, but
It happens, man. Yeah,
that's
that's
something
the
we've
world we live
learned
in.
over the past couple years.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I hope you're doing well. I know it's a little bit later where you are in Nashville, but
It is. It's 6 p.m. here, but it's sunny and it's still like 89 degrees out. So like,
oh, okay. So it's
it's
like
great.
summer basically.
Oh yeah, I'm in shorts right now, which is hard when you're indoors because I'm actually like freezing a little bit inside. So
There's
like,
always like that weird balance of like it's hot out and then it's cold inside,
oh
and
man.
then you have to worry about paying for
And Nashville's not
extra.
to complain, but Nashville's like pretty soon it'll start being like 90% humidity every day. So it'll just be
I'm
like,
so sorry.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I can
Fun.
move anytime, but I don't.
Well, hey, you know what? I have also heard that Nashville is absolutely beautiful, and you were kind of in the hub for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
music,
No,
which is
I
great.
I love Nashville, and I've stayed here for a reason, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I know we have a full set coming up, and if you want to maybe kick it off with that first song.
Awesome. This one thought it'd be appropriate to sing a song about drinking. It's called Sober.
All right.
You're under my skin, and you know that it's obvious. Crossing a line that's risky for them both of us. Somehow we find a way to make the same mistakes and never put up a fight. We always say that we won't do it again, but another bottle, you're pulling me closer. We keep pretending now I'm better as friends. How come we never do the shit when we're sober? I'll wake up tomorrow knowing you're already gone. You know I won't call though, 'cause it's only me holding on. Oh, somehow we find a way to make the same mistakes and never put up a fight. We always say that we won't do it again, but another battle, you're pulling me closer. We're pretending now we're better as friends. How come we never do the shit when we're sober? Yeah, when we're sober. Oh no, we never do the shit when we're sober. Yeah, when we're sober. Heaven above knows it won't end well. You know it ain't love when it hurts like hell. The voice in my head is screaming again, 'cause I know we always say that we won't do it again, but another battle, you're pulling me closer. Keep pretending now I'm better as friends. How come we never do the shit when we're sober? We always say that we won't do it again, but another battle, you're pulling me closer. We keep pretending now I'm better as friends. How come we never do the shit when we're sober? Yeah, when we're sober. Oh no, we never do the shit when we're sober. When we're sober. Oh no, we never do this shit when we're sober.
Woo!
Hey!
Yay!
Imaginary claps for me.
I know. You know what?
Round of applause. Thank you.
Round
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
applause, if you
Yes.
will. Square of applause was like what we would always do in like camp.
Love it. Yes.
you know. So Sober came off of your release from the end of last year, songs songs that I found in the year that I lost, which is
Yes. If you say it too fast,
wonderfully
I usually
titled.
say it the opposite direction.
Oh, okay. I was like, I had to think about it for a second, but I hope I got it right.
No, you did. You did. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And I don't know. I think that's a really interesting EP in general because I guess it was really a byproduct of being indoors for the last couple years. And so
Yeah.
I was curious kind of about just your process in general of going about it. I know you did a lot of virtual writing sessions with people across the world, really.
Yeah, I wrote and recorded the whole thing completely virtually. Ended up being producers in LA and in London. And it was mixed in Nashville, but I never was in the room with any of the guys. It was producers I knew before, but we'd get on Zoom, and there's a couple different plugins you can plug into your recording system where, like, at one point, my friend and producer, Dan Weller, was outside of Liverpool adding some guitar tracks to Sober. And I was watching him do it on Zoom and listening to him do it live with like a 3-second delay on my computer.
Interesting.
It was so I could give him feedback on what he was playing, and like it's amazing. So I did all that. I recorded all my vocals here. We wrote all the songs on the internet, and so yeah, they were the songs that I found in the year that we all lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very cool, though. And I guess you've actually released quite a bit in the years that have, or that we have lost, I guess, if you would say. And kind of interested in how that process has changed for you, especially when you were like starting out in the music, and then kind of as like you kind of wrote when talking about the EP, it was supposed to be a big year for you. You know, you were like in like this trajectory that kind of got halted. So I'm curious on how your process in general kind of changed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that I was able to write and record from my little office studio here, which literally is just like a laptop computer, 2 speakers, and a system to record through, you know? So I really, I took lots of time off as well, just like, figuring out life and binging 30 Rock in the office and stuff. But
oh my gosh.
Which I had never seen The Office until 2020.
Really?
I'd see like random episodes, and I was like, well, I have the time now. I should probably watch that thing. But I was also able to like record and write with everyone because no one had an excuse that like, well, we'll see you when you come to town. It's like, well, no one's coming to town, so if I knock on your computer, will you open it? You know? And
yeah.
And everyone did, and I was able to work with a lot, not only just like songwriter and artist friends, but DJs all over the world as well. And I had a few of those songs come out this year. I'm going to play my versions of them here. But yeah, so I cut my vocals and emailed them to them, and that was kind of how my last like year and a half went.
That's interesting. So your home kind of became your own studio.
It did. And in the meantime, like you said, in 2020, I was lucky enough that in May of 2020, my episode of Songland came out. So like, I at least had that to look forward to for a bit.
Yes, I had a question on that song too, because the song is We Can Be Heroes, which is a beautiful song. And this might just be me as like a nerd who only sees We Can Be Heroes and then it goes just for one day. But I was curious, I did kind of get a little bit of like Bowie in there a little bit, and I was wondering if that was something that you referenced like when kind of building the song.
No. Like it came up when we thought of the title. We're like, oh my God, Bowie did this already. But it's like, you know what? If you type in We Can Be Heroes, there's a million other songs with that same title. So
fair.
in that way, we actually tried not to talk about Bowie because we weren't trying to replicate that at all.
Interesting. Okay.
We knew people were going to think about the title and that great song anyways. And in my head, of course, I was like, well, I'm never going to beat that. So like, I'll just write something different. But apparently Bowie snuck in there a little bit without me knowing. All right.
In my opinion, but
No.
I was also
Bowie's
like,
always there.
Bowie's always there, always. I wanted to talk about the music video a little bit. I know I mentioned I wanted to. I think you have very interesting music videos that you've kind of like put out thematically to your songs, and the one for We Be Heroes was just beautiful. It was all filmed at Notre Dame, and it was kind of about how they took on learning in like a space or in a space that was like, you know, safe for students during the pandemic and everything. And how did that come about?
They actually reached out to me. Um,
Really?
the head of storytelling there, that's his actual title, Jim's great guy, had reached out after they saw Songland. He saw I was from Indiana, and he rightly so was like, oh, he must be a Notre Dame fan. Which, if you're from Indiana, you know Notre Dame football is kind of the football in Indiana.
It's
You
like
know,
if you're from California, Notre Dame football is is big.
yeah. It's Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
So they actually wanted us to come out sooner, but 2020 was even more hard to travel, and rightfully so. So the campaign was all their idea, but they were nice enough to bring me out to film everything. So I got to film, on the stadium, which I believe I'm one of only in the stadium. I'm only one of like two or three artists that have been, well, three or four artists that have performed on that football field, and two of them are Garth Brooks and like U2. So like
Really?
it's yeah. I'm not in their level, but it was pretty cool to be when it comes to that 50-yard line. Bono and Garth Brooks and me are the only ones who've stepped on it to perform, so it's pretty cool.
That's like a fun little fact that you can bring out at parties. Like, oh
I
yeah,
know. Yeah.
that's really cool. Well, like I said, I think that it's a song that really kind of um, represents kind of the triumph and strength that people did have to take on during the pandemic and really stepping up for themselves and being their own heroes, which is very inspiring to hear. And, you know, coming out of it is still a takeaway that I think people can resonate with.
Absolutely. I think in lots of ways, I keep trying to rewrite that song these days. I'll play another one that is kind of in that same thing, just because I feel like just we're all in a weird place, and just writing about songs about like how things can get better and are getting better are just they just feel right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, without further ado, did you maybe want to go into a couple songs back to back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, totally.
Should I talk about the songs first before I play? Is it
If you want, yeah, absolutely.
I'll do that so there's no like downtime. This first song is called
Perfect.
Slow Right Down, which is just one of my favorite songs I ever wrote. And the second song is called With You, and it's actually my acoustic version of a dance track that was released at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And cool story about that song is that it was produced both in, if I'm remembering this right, Italy and France, and then I recorded here in Nashville, and it was released by a label in Amsterdam. So it's
Okay.
like a very like multi-country song, which
It
which
is
I think was really
international
cool.
song, if
And
you
I've never
will.
met I never met the guys. We've only done like WhatsApp talks and emails. So it's really cool. But you can listen to if you like it, you can listen to the real thing, wherever you listen to music.
If you head to Linktree/Jeffrey James Official, you can find every major streaming platform link there.
Hey, that was good.
Look at that.
I teed you right up for that.
Thanks. Alrighty.
Nope, wrong song. This song's called Slow Right Down. Oh, settle down. We're smart enough people, we can figure it out. So it's picking up, holding on tighter. Oh, but is it enough? On the edge of another wave, waiting to get in the flow. Running blind, running out of days. They'll be gone before we know. I think we need to slow right down. We gotta catch our breath somehow. So much that we can figure out. If only we can slow right down. Yeah. Fate keeps pulling us, only makes it harder when it's so out of touch. Escape all the noise, stop going through the motions like we don't have a choice. On the edge of another wave, waiting to get in the flow. Running blind, running out of days. They'll be gone before we know. I think we need to slow right down. We gotta catch our breath somehow. So much that we can figure out. If only we can slow right down. I think we need to slow right down. We gotta catch our breath somehow. So much that we can figure out. If only we can slow right down. When you're out in the open and your wheels are in motion and you feel like you're falling and falling, 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 hit the ground before you know. I think we need to slow right down. We gotta catch our breath somehow. So much that we can figure out. If only we can slow right down. I think we need to slow right down. We gotta catch our breath somehow. So much that we can figure out. If only we can slow right down. Thank you, thank you. This next song, as I mentioned, is a dance track. This is my acoustic version of it. We actually never had an acoustic version, but I stripped it down. It's my first time doing it, so, hope it works out. It's called With You. So many ways to love. So many stars in the sky. One single lifetime is not enough for you and I, you and I, you and I. Even when the path isn't clear, forward is the only way out of here. So take my hand and take a breath. Open up your heart and find out what's next. And I don't know where this road is headed, but I think it's time I find something new. 'Cause this life flies by if you let it. But no matter what I do, I know I'll make it through. As long as I'm with you, you. As long as I'm with you, you. How many ever learn? There's always more to be seen. Waiting with dreamers, there's hearts that burn like you and me, you and me, you and me. And I don't know where this road is headed, but I think I'll find something new. 'Cause this life flies by if you let it. But no matter what I do, I know I'll make it through. As long as I'm with you, you. 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 'Cause I don't know where this road is headed, but I think it's time I find something new. 'Cause this life flies by if you let it. And no matter what I do, I know I'll make it through. As long as I'm with you.
Woo! Woo! Wonderful.
Thank you.
Jeffrey James on the Jam Happy Hour for anyone tuning in. So far, we've just heard some incredible music. We've been sipping on our wine. I'm drinking
Yes.
the butter cab, and I think,
got
Jeffrey,
my,
you have some butter Chardonnay out on display.
Yep, butter shard right there.
Wonderful. And if you are looking for some Jam Cellar easy to love wines to have in your life, you can head over to jamcellars.com/shop. You can find Butter Cab, Butter Shard, Butter Bubbles, and all of our lineup will be delivered to your door in 60 seconds or less or shipped directly to you. Um, so,
Sounds like a
with
great deal, by the way.
you, thank you. With You was one of your 2022 releases, and I was curious because it came out originally as a kind of dance track that I think you collabed with August Kid.
Yeah. August
Yeah.
Kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering if there's kind of when you take like a dance track, I saw you did like a video where you kind of like building out a dance track, here's the vocals, here's where you add in the bass
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything, which was really fun. Am such a nerd for all of that kind of behind the scenes stuff. But is there a difference when you're kind of taking a song like that and then stripping it back into like an acoustic song?
Um, yes and no. With I've learned so with that song, it started. August Kid had sent me a track, and it was kind of like the beginnings of what the final track became. And I find for me to write to like a pre-made DJ dance track, I kind of have to break it down initially, anyways. And so I kind of figured out the chords he was playing, and I basically wrote it on. I can't remember if I wrote it on guitar or piano, but like the chords you heard were kind of. I have to get it back into my like singer-songwriter pop mode and be like, okay, what is this song? Where are the levels of it? Where can the levels be? So I actually like took his track, chopped it up, and made it where my brain is like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, like all those pieces. Because in the dance world, those are all kind of like, those are just like, yeah, it's fun if you have them, but also let's just make a dope beat and dance, which is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But when you're a songwriter out of Nashville like I am, that's not how your brain thinks. So all that to say, yeah, I usually break the song down and say, all right, if this was a song that I was just writing and performing for myself, what would it sound like? What would be the arc to it? And then
Okay.
I send that back to him, and he built up a whole track around my lyrics and melody, and even he chopped up some of the stuff that I made. So it's this fun like collaborative stuff because his brain went places I would never even thought of. It was great.
That is like the really fun part about collaboration, having someone else with a different mindset who can really take what you have and almost like elevate it and like add like this whole new thing to it. On like songwriting, I know that you worked with Ryan Tedder from One Republic on We Can Be Heroes when you were on Songland, and you had like a quote that I read, and it was kind of working with him showed you the difference between being a songwriter and someone who can make a song great. And
Yes.
I kind of like, what was your, I guess, takeaway that you got from that experience, that you were able to apply into like songwriting and, when you take songs and make them your own?
Yeah, well, it's funny the part that he did to the song that made it great were like kind of like the X factor things that like you kind of just have to have or feel in the moment. Like he literally came in, and after we'd already like rewritten the song, I was recording the vocals. He's like, "Hey, I want you to sing this one note differently," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I did that, and that changed the entire chorus, made it 10 times bigger. And then he was like, "We're gonna take the choir you have at the end of the chorus, put them at the top of the chorus. You're gonna have it the whole time." And it was like a frenzy of just like energetic energy. But the part that I took away was that he was doing that with like 4 songs at a time. Like there was people in 4 other studios all in the same place, and he was running between them, basically like producing and making all the songs better. So it was like, all right, if he can work at that high of an energy, I have no excuse to not at least try to also be working
It's
at a
like,
high energy like that,
yeah, you set that bar high. Now I have to hit it. Thanks.
Exactly. Thanks, Ryan. God. Ugh,
God.
the worst, man.
But that is really exciting. And then this year we're actually able to, or not, I guess end of last year you were able to release like the official recorded version of that song, which I'm sure
Yeah.
was really really
It
nice
was
to see
wonderful
that
to
come into
finally be able to
fruition.
release it, and that timed up. Notre Dame was nice enough to hold off on us, filming that video until I could release it. So they waited almost a full year before they
Oh
filmed that
wow.
video.
They just
'Cause
really really liked your song.
I mean, they did. They based their whole campaign around
Yeah.
it. It was cool. And actually, this is a fun teaser because I'm not singing that song during this
I
today.
know, I
So
just
like people have to go. We Can Be Heroes, Jeffrey James, and you'll find it.
Yes. You can find it on Spotify and YouTube, Apple Music, every major streaming platform. And if you haven't watched the video, go check it out. It's on Jeffrey James' YouTube page. I'm sure it's in the link tree as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. And then speaking of things that kind of happened within like this past year, I'm going to totally 180 here and I'm so sorry.
Love it.
But you did become a dog dad.
I did, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kipo.
Adorable
I've got a
Kipo.
11-month-old Brindle French Bulldog. He's
Adorable.
awesome. My first
and
dog.
you guys
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say you guys were fostering before that, right?
Yes, you know everything about me. This is
I know.
creepy. That's good. No, it's awesome. Yeah, we were fostering. I had never had any pets growing up. I grew up very allergic to like dogs and cats. I started doing allergy immunotherapy a couple years back, and so I'm much better now. And then we started fostered about 6 different dogs last year, which all found homes. It was amazing. Then we were like, all right, let's do this. And we found Kipo.
Was Kipo a foster? Did you guys
He was not. We paid some good money for that guy.
That's fine. Well, adorable nonetheless.
Still, fostering is wonderful. You should do it.
Fostering is wonderful. I've been thinking about doing it myself with a local humane society, and I'm just like, my worry is the attachment I will get and then not being able to like let them go.
I tell you what, we at least with the fostering company we had here in Nashville, they were wonderful, called Wags and Walks Nashville, and we never had a dog for longer than a week. They were the first dog we had for like 3 days, and then they were adopted. They're really good, but I mean, they interview the people. The people will come interview with us and ask us about the dog before they choose it. But all that to say, having my own dog has opened up my heart even more. And so recently, we actually did foster an older dog, and like when we along with our Frenchie, and when I had to give him away, I was a little rough. That was the first time I was like, ooh, I feel bad. But he went to they're going to a good place where they're going to be loved. So it's good.
I know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want the best for you, but I also want you to stay here.
You want the best for them, but you want the best for you too. So that's the
you want the best for you, exactly.
Yeah.
But that is wonderful, and congratulations on not being allergic to your dog.
Yeah.
Adorable. All right. Well, we are about halfway through the program, so would you maybe want to do song 4? Do a solo song?
I would love to. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe I'm going to slow it down here a little bit. This is a song from my East London EP. It's called One and the Same.
Okay. Woo.
Don't push me away. You know I can take whatever you say. And don't leave me behind. I wanna be right there by your side. Oh, it's more than a moment in a photograph. And oh, it's more than that joke that always makes you laugh. And oh, we'll never find any words to explain how we are one and the same. I remember the promise to always be honest with you, and you pour like a magnet. Do you understand? You carry us through. And oh, it's more than a moment in a photograph. And oh, it's more than that joke that always makes you laugh. And oh, we'll never find any words to explain how we are one and the same. Ooh. Ooh, and the same. How we are one and the same.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I know it's not the same effect, but you know.
No, it's all right. I feel it. You're giving the right energy. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So, the East London EP. Oh gosh. Yeah. That's where that's from. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, but I was reading about it, and it was basically it was like a month-long like writing like adventure that you did through Europe, or was it just London?
Just London and
Just London, yeah. But that's
up
kind of
being-
where
Yeah, it's where I
songs
wrote
came
and
from.
recorded everything from there. I went there. It's the equivalent of about 2 months. I was there for 3 weeks, wrote a bunch of stuff, came back for about another, 3.5 weeks, and recorded all the songs. And I stayed. I lived in a couple different parts in East London, and I kind of was very inspired by the city. The first time I went was my first trip to London in general, and I met all these new producers and just kind of soaked in the city. So that's why I titled it East London EP. That's that's what it was. That's where it was inspired by.
Yeah, I love that. And I was reading about how kind of through that experience, it was very, it kind of led you to a clear music voice, is what I read.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I only wrote and recorded with brand new producers and songwriters, and so they came in having almost no preconceived notions about me as an artist or a songwriter, other than the stuff they'd heard, but as my personality wise, so it kind of freed me up. I felt it was probably all on me, but it felt like it freed me up to just like really just be my creative self fully, and maybe my weird self fully, and be like, well, I might not see these guys ever again anyway, so let's just like dive in. And I think because of that, I really got some unique music out of myself.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
they-
there's
and they
totally
pulled it
something.
out. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I was like, there's totally something just freeing about, I don't know if I'll see this person again. I don't know what's going to happen from this. So almost, like a fuck it mentality. Let's,
Absolutely,
let's
man.
just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd already spent the money to get out there, and I was also living, in Airbnbs by myself. So like it was basically 2 months alone, unless I was in the studio. And so you're just kind of like with your own thoughts, for better or for worse, and able to just really dive in and go for it.
Oh, absolutely. Did you have kind of a favorite place that you were like for writing or recording or anything?
I really loved Brixton.
Okay.
It's actually Brixton has a really cool piece of art, because David Bowie lived there for years, and so it's got this big by this coffee shop that I went to every day, which is right next to the studio that like Ed Sheeran had recorded in and stuff. But on the wall, this beautiful painting of Bowie in like his young Bowie makeup, and there were always like dozens of flowers in front of it that people would leave almost every day. It's kind of this monument people would go and like pay homage to Bowie.
Aww.
And so that was, a little tie back to Bowie there. Yeah. But that
It-
was,
it all comes back to Bowie. It's okay.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Brixton is a little bit gritty still, has really cool, really, really great food and atmosphere. And it was just everything I loved.
I love that. Yeah, I just saw Paul McCartney, speaking of London.
Okay.
Yes, and it's just kind of like from a songwriting perspective, discussing like how these areas, obviously he was mainly in Liverpool, but just kind of like how these like locations influenced music and writing, and I don't know, it's cool.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you hear the stories about people going down to Muscle Shoals, and
Yeah.
they just make different music when they go down there. Whether you're U2 or the Rolling Stones or whoever, like they made music, but then they went to Muscle Shoals and they made like it's still them, but it just feels the
It
blues
feels-
is just in there, right? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I love it. I don't know. Do you have any plans for travel coming up? Maybe
I
either going
do.
back Do you? Okay.
Yes, I have it's actually a wine cruise that we're going on. Technically a river cruise, but it's on the ocean. That's going around from Venice over Croatia down and around to Rome.
Oh,
So
well,
I'm
that's
doing that
fun.
mid July, so that's fun.
That's super fun. Wine,
Yeah,
wine and music. Obviously, it's a wonderful connection
nothing.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
Brings people
two
together.
best worlds. Yeah,
Oh, obviously, it brings
you
people
guys know.
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's super fun. And then didn't you, I think I saw on your Instagram that you actually were in Italy and Rome
I
semi-recently?
was in
Yeah.
Italy last July because this was supposed to be. It was supposed to, last July was supposed to be when the cruise was, and they
Okay.
canceled. But we already had our tickets, so we're like, well, let's go.
You
What
might
else are
as
we
well.
doing?
I mean, if you
Absolutely.
have the opportunity.
That was my first time in Italy and loved it. Love Rome specifically. I love big cities, and so big cities are great. And then Rome is just so old.
I was like, yeah, it's I don't know, history before your eyes.
Literally, yeah. You might be
Yeah.
looking at you might be looking at a monument and sitting on like a slab of rock that like, oh, this actually was part of that monument, but it broke off, and now you're just sitting on it, and it's crazy.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm sure it'll be super fun. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll have any Jam Cellars wine.
Well, I might have to make a call and see what's happening there. I don't
I
know.
know, right? Again, jamcellars.com/buy.
Done.
It's like perfect. I got my 2 wine plugs in there, so we're good.
You got to keep your job for one more day. It's good.
Yes, nailed it. Oh, perfect. Oh, yeah. And if you
Boom.
stay connected with Jam Sellers, thank you, Greg. If you stay connected with Jam Sellers on Facebook and Instagram, you can stay up to date with upcoming fun giveaways, maybe something for Bottle Rock. Jeffrey, have you heard of Bottle Rock?
I don't know what Bottle Rock is. Talk to me.
Bottle Rock is a music festival that is presented by Jam Sellers at the end of May, right here in Napa.
So coming
So we
up.
have that coming up at the end of the month. And we do a ton of fun giveaways for it. And if you stay connected with us at Jam Sellers on Facebook and Instagram, you might see some opportunities to get some live streams live from the Jam Sellers jam pad.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Love
it's
that.
really fun. We do like a whole acoustic stage in part of our sponsorship, and we'll host like some of the artists like throughout the festival. It's such a fun experience, but
Amazing.
yeah, and hopefully we'll see you out soon.
Just call. Listen.
Okay.
JeffreyJames.com.
Listen, hey, listen, if you're ever in Napa, come visit us.
I will. That's on my
Okay.
list of California things to do next. Yeah.
Wonderful. Just Jam Sellers, top of the
No,
list.
yeah. Just there.
And that's it. You don't need the rest of Napa, I
No.
promise.
Nothing else to see in Napa. Just jam cells.
Alrighty. Well, would you maybe want to go into a block of a couple other songs?
I'd love that.
Okay.
The first song I'm going to do is called "Never Give Up." Speaking of kind of in that "We Can Be Heroes" world, and it was wonderfully used. I think the campaign is over now, but for about the past 3 months, it was on a campaign from the Health and Human Services for their promoting their booster for their vaccine.
Oh, that's
So you
great.
would have heard it on my mom heard it on NBC, ABC, CNN. I got to see it once on CNN. Of course, my mom texted me every single time she saw the commercial, and it was So that this song was on that, and then the second song is called "Breakout," which was the newest DJ track that I released with an DJ named Dave Ade, who has 132 number 1 Billboard dance charts singles, which is insane.
Oh, wow.
And currently, this song we found out as of today is number 14 on the UK dance charts,
Wow.
which is nuts. I've never had a song. Thank you. Yeah, I've never had a song on the dance charts, especially. And there is this acoustic version, a much tighter acoustic version. It's releasing in a couple weeks.
That's great.
So you guys get to hear it first.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you.
This is "Never Give Up." If you need a hand hand to hold. I'll be the first reaching out, you know. Good or bad, winding roads, I'll be right there and I won't let go. 'Cause all we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. Yeah, on each other. We all know there are days, mountains to climb and battles to face. So it's good to know that when we fall, someone will catch us. 'Cause after all we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. All we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. Yeah. On each other. I know that you need a hand, you know that I understand. We'll never give up, never give up, never give up on us. I know that you need a hand, you know that we understand. We'll never give up, never give up, never give up on us. All we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. All we ever have is one another. So let's promise this, never give up on each other. Yeah, on each other. Woo. This song is called Breakout. It's the newest single and dance track, and the acoustic song comes out, I think, May 20th. If that's a Friday, then that's when it releases. We've been drowning slow underneath the waves of the sticks and stones and the words they say, waiting for our time, for a brand new day when the moment's right. We're gonna stand up, the time is right now, nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out, we're gonna stand up, the time is right now, nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out, yeah. Oh, yeah, nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out. Yeah, nothing can stop us. Even in the dark, there's a light ahead, and that's how you know it ain't over yet. Nothing's ever lost when you know the truth. All the strength you have is inside of you. Yeah, we're gonna stand up. The time is right now. Nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out. We're gonna stand up. The time is right now. Nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out. Oh, yeah, nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna stand up. The time is right now. Nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out, we're gonna stand up. The time is right now, nothing can stop us. We're gonna break out. Well, I guess I can play another song. Okay, hey, here we go. Emily, you're muted. Emily, you are muted. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh my
Isn't
God,
that-
my audio and microphone went out as you were playing.
That's how it goes. No worries.
I was like,
man.
we are so close. We were doing
In your
so
head, you
well.
were like, I hope this isn't a short song. And then it was a short song. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. Okay. It's been a really fun tech day for me.
I'm so sorry. You're making it through,
It's
though. You're doing
okay.
great, I think.
Oh, thank you. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a really important question when it comes to Breakout.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
And as I mentioned before, I was curious in your process of music videos and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious about the cats.
The cat. Yes.
I'm really curious about the cat video.
The cat video, I can't even take credit. My wonderful partner, Lizelle, it was all her idea.
Okay.
Dave reached out. And he's like, hey, you got any ideas for a music video? And Zell is great at graphic design and everything. And I was like, hey, do you got any ideas? And she was like, let me think of something. And she came back with this cat video. And I was like, 100%, that's what we're doing. No takebacks.
I love it. So did you source someone to do kind of the cat rendering? Or Greg and I were like talking about this before, and it was like, did you take the pup and then like have the pup in like a suit and then did the dance
We
and then
had
you
like
rendered
strings,
it?
like he was a
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It was all from another site where you could like buy. We had bought, you know, it's like you know what Splice is, when like you can
Yes.
buy like pre-made things. So they were like, you know, thousands of versions of someone had made this cat doing all these dances, but like individually, you know, just like the one move, whatever. And so we picked our favorites, and they were like different color cats. And then we picked our favorites, and we, you know, she edited them together to make it all look like the cat was always doing this thing in this specific order. So someone else created this crazy thing, and we just took it. Yeah.
You ran with it. You know what? I
ran with
think
it,
it works, and also it. You know, you don't see enough cat themed music videos, especially in 2022.
And the neon backdrop.
The
just makes it
neon
even better, I
backdrop,
think.
you know, it really pulls
Here's-
in that kind of like 80s synth, you know.
Here's the big thing we were thinking of too, because a lot of DJs, when they use the song, they'll 'cause there's a remix of it now, and that's what the cat video is for. When they play that song in the clubs, which it sounds weird to say in the clubs, but when they play in the clubs, a lot of times they'll use footage of the music video, and we're like, all right, what would get someone's attention other than just like a story? It's like the cat and the neon dancing. Like that's the weirdest that you want to just watch it.
You know what? Yes. I can agree with that one.
Yeah.
It's really, it is eye-grabbing.
Good. That's the
Yes,
point, man.
it does. I think it does the job it's supposed to.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. And then I guess like Breakout as a song, it was a collab with, oh gosh. Oh no,
Dave
my brain's
Auday.
going to rack for it.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's in there somewhere. Oh, Dave Auday.
Yeah. The E has a little
The E has the apostrophe. I didn't
thing on it.
you
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yeah, Dave and I wrote it. He actually lives in Nashville. Was former
that's
LA
cool.
guy. Does a million remixes. He was just up for a Grammy for best remix of a Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato song.
Oh wow.
So he's just a pro like OG DJ and remixer.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote that. That's one of the few ones we were in the same room when we wrote the song.
I was going to ask if that was kind of if that was like an
Yes.
in-person thing or if that
was
was
in
over.
person, and there was actually a third songwriter, a good friend of mine named Jennifer Hansen, who also was there with us writing. That was like a legit, just like regular Nashville session, and that song came out of it, which was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, you know, kind of like easing back into like in-person stuff. I'm sure it's been nice to be able to have you get like such like a different connection when you're in person with people, obviously. So I'm sure getting back to songwriting and being able to work with people has been, I guess, not helpful, but like
No,
helpful in your experience.
it's great. To your point, like right now we are like sometimes talking over each other because we're on. It's almost like we're on a telephone call, right? So
Right.
So there's a vibe when you're in person that you can't recreate. That things move faster sometimes, and also you're just feeling it. You feel each other out. You can feel emotions and thought processes better. In person
Totally.
Lots of times, yeah, yeah.
Wow, awesome. I don't know. You have any fun stuff coming up music wise for people to maybe keep an eye out for?
I mentioned that the acoustic version of Breakout is releasing May 20th. Definitely working on a project right now. So end of the summer, there might be at least one new song coming out.
Right.
I did have a fun song come out with Scott Bradley, who created
from like Postmodern?
Jukebox. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a video with them years ago, and I know I'm just in touch with Scott, and so we did a stripped down thing that's just like a Scott Bradley thing.
Really?
The
That's
video
super
came
cool.
out. We did a cover of King of Wishful Thinking, which is an 80s song that no one thinks they know until they hear the chorus, and then they're like, oh, I know that song. It was in Pretty Woman. That's the thing.
It's like that's most 80s songs, to be fair.
100%. 100%. No one knows the verses, but everybody knows, like, oh, that hook. Yeah,
Of
that's the
course.
chorus.
And it's like, oh yeah.
And it's really cool. We did it in kind of a Smokey Robinson style, and so you can look that up on YouTube as well. And also
Postmodern or Scott Bradley YouTube.
Scott Bradley, yeah. If you look up Scott Bradley and Jeffrey James, that should pop up. Or even King of Wishful Thinking, Jeffrey James, that'll pop up.
That is super cool.
And he released the track too. It's a piano vocal of the whole thing too. Yeah, so go check it out.
That's freaking awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. I know we got to talking, but we're already closing in on the hour, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's been fun though.
I hope so. I've had fun.
Absolutely.
I hope you've had fun too. I hope
Yes, very
everyone
much so.
tuning in has had fun. But speaking of covers, I know you have one more song lined up for us that I am pretty excited to hear.
I do. No pressure. I don't even want to give away what it is, but
I feel like you kind of just have to kind of jump into it and,
Great.
Okay,
Great.
perfect.
All right. I'm going to do this my last song, I guess, then.
All right.
Let me fix my capo. 3, 4. It was almost a beat. That was good. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Music loud and women warm. I've been kicked around since I was born, and it's alright. It's okay. You can look the other way while we try to understand New York Times effect on men. Whether your brother or whether your mother, we're still alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're still alive, staying alive. Still alive, staying alive. Yeah, still alive. Oh, we're staying alive. Yeah. I get low and I get high, and if I can't get either, I better try. I got wings of heaven on my shoes. I'm a dancing man and I just can't lose, and it's alright, it's okay. You can look the other way while we try to understand the New York Times effect on men. Whether your brother or whether your mother, staying alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're still alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, staying alive. We ain't going nowhere. somebody help me. Oh, somebody help me now. Whether your brother or whether your mother, feel the ceiling breaking and everyone shaking. I said, I said, yeah. I said, I said, yeah. Whether your brother or whether your mother will stay alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking and we're still alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, staying alive. Hey.
Wow. All right. So when do we get the released version of that?
Ooh, good question. I don't know. It's a cover I always like to do, so you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't get a lot of stripped back covers of the Bee Gees. I think you kind of get people who go
Maybe
all
I
in
need
on
to
it,
do
which is great.
like I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it works well. You don't see it a lot, and it was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I was like, it's very apt. I was making my coworkers listen to the DGs earlier, so I think it's a good note
Greg was
to
talking
land
about
on.
that. I didn't know about the DGs, but I need to look it up now.
It is the DGs were the Foo Fighters covering the Bee Gees.
I think that's awesome, and I'm excited to listen to it after this. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
Cool.
It's wonderful. The name of the album is Hail Satin.
Damn it, that's awesome. That's so
It's
good.
perfect. You should definitely check it out. And for anyone tuning in, you should check out Jeffrey James. And if you head over to the Linktree/Jeffrey James Official, that's where you're going to be able to find links to all of the major streaming platforms where you can find his music. Go listen to Breakout. Go listen to oh gosh, you did so many songs. Go listen to like Sober. Check out the songs I found in The Year That I Lost. It's really a wonderful EP. And then stay connected with him on Instagram at Jeffrey James Official and on Facebook at Jeffrey James Music, so you can stay up to date on, that upcoming wine cruise, as well as, new music releases and anything that's up and coming.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see you guys again.
Yes. We will definitely see you again soon. Alrighty. And cheers.
Cheers.
Woo. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.